Hello friends, good evening all of you. So today's session we are going to see about population with and sample. So actually do research, actually we need to collect the collections of data from what's that's called sample actually we used to say. Yes. So we can see what is population and sample. So population and sample in research, a population refers to the complete collection of individuals, objects, events or items a researcher want to study and draw conclusion about it. For example, I'm collecting it of 1,000 members, the whole population, 1,000 members also. That is, it's go undergoes to the population. From that, I'm going to take to do research. I'm going to do take the sample. For example, 10 to 15 members are some samples I'm going taking and I'm doing that uh, research. That is called sample method. So it represents the entire group that share a common characteristic relevant to the research. A sample is a smaller subset selected from the population for data collection and analysis. So since studying every member of a population is often difficult, researchers collect information from a sample and use the finding to make conclusions about the whole population. So therefore the sample size is always smaller than the popular size. Suppose, for example, you can take 1,000 means 100 it can take sample and it will do the this one work. It is important note that the population does not always consist of people. So depending on research objective, it may include products, organizations, animals, plants, machines, websites, books, countries, or any other group of interest. And this one second. Okay. So next one, population and sample. What is population and what is sample? Student survey. Example student survey we can take to study the academic performance of engineering students in this university. So population, all engineering university students in the university, that is called population. Sample means, suppose for example, I'm taking the 300 engineering students. I'm selecting randomly for the survey. And agriculture research we can take, for example, to examine the effect of new fertilizers on rice production. So population means all rice plants grown in the particular farming region. Samples, I'm taking 500 rice plants are selected from the different fields for the experiment. Next one, what is population and sample? The complete group being studied. So here the smaller group selected from the population. So usually the large in size always smaller than this population, that sample actually. Population represents the entire target group. This is a smaller group actually. So used to draw overall conclusion the population, and sample used to collect data and estimate population characteristics. First one, sampling methods. Really, it's very important. Sampling methods and types of sampling, they will ask you very often. So maximum the types of sampling, if you know, it will be better to actually, it's a regular question actually. What is sampling methods? A sample is a group of selected from larger population to participate in the research study. So here, since studying every member of your population is often difficult, researchers collect data from a sample that represent the whole population. The process of selecting this representative group is called sampling method. For example, to study the study habits of 5,000 college students, the researcher may collect from a sample 300 students instead of surveying the 5,000 whole all over. So this is called sampling methods. So sampling methods are mainly classified into two methods, probability sampling and non-probability sampling. In probability sampling, every member of the population has an equal chance being selected, making the results more reliable. So probability means equal chance they will give for everyone. Non-probability sampling means participants are chosen based on the based on the convenience, based on the availability or research or judgment. So that we are going to see one by one now. First one, categories: probability sampling, non-probability sampling. Diagrammatic also it will be better to understand this one. Just a table wise I have given. Probability we have four types: simple random sampling, systematic sampling, stratified sampling and cluster sampling. Simply they will give what are the probability sampling available in the choices given. So for example, systematic sampling, convenient, quarto and purposive they will give. So we have to identify stratified sampling, its undergoes to the probability sampling. Like this we need to do. So properly we have to memorize that what are the sampling types. And non-probability sampling, convenient sampling, consecutive sampling, quarter sampling, purposive or judgmental sampling, and snowball sampling. What is probability sampling? So probability sampling is a sampling technique which every member of the population has a known or equal opportunity to be selected for the study. So it is widely used for quantitative research. What is quantitative research? That is called actually numbering, numeral value. So because it reduces selection bias and improves the accuracy of the results. So when researchers wants to draw a conclusion that can be generalized to the entire population, probability sampling is considered the most reliable method. Example we can take there's a 5,000 students. The researchers wants to study their academic performance. So using computer generated random sampling, 300 students were chosen so that each student has an equal chance being included in the study. So here we have four types of probability sampling. That is simple random sampling, systematic sampling, stratified sampling, and cluster sampling. Now first one, simple random sampling. Simple random. What is random? Random means we are going to pick there and there. That is called random. Yes. So simple random means just we can pick any number of random values and we are going to do sample. That's all. So simple random sampling is the probability sampling method which every individual in the population has an equal and independent chance being selected. And to use this method, here the researchers first prepare the complete list of members in the population known as the sampling frame. So the required sample is then selected in random process, not in the sequential process. Random means any of the person, such as a lottery method, random number tables, or computer generated random numbers like this. Okay, so like this they will select. For example, you can see the diagram itself, we can understand. Here they are selecting this one first person and the next one person, next one person. It's a random selection. It's not sequential actually. Systematic sampling. Systematic means, for example, third person, next to one, fifth person, next to one, seventh person, next to one, ninth person. Like this is a systematic. They will fix the intervals and they will select the particular systematic process. So this is a probability sampling method. It's where researchers select participants in a fixed intervals that I told you. One, okay, the kth member, K interval சொல்லலாம். So K1, K3, K5, K7, 9 like this. So example, a company 1,000 employees need to sample 100 employees. The researchers randomly select 50 employee, the starting point and then choose the 10th employee like this. Stratified sampling. Stratified sampling means here this probability sampling method in which the population divide into smaller groups, strata, based on the common characteristics such as gender, age, department or income. So samples are then selected from each group using random or systematic method. This approach ensures that all the important subgroups are fairly represented in the study. So example, we can take 800 female employees and 200 male employees. So to obtain sample 100 employees, that we are going to take 80 women and 20 men like this. And cluster sampling. Clustering means actually that is the meaning, that is a grouping. So cluster sampling is a probability sampling method is which a population divided into natural groups or clusters such as schools, villages, departments and cities like this. Suppose for example football coach, suppose team we want that we can group and we can do. A cricket team we want, just we can group and we can do like this. So instead of selecting individuals from every group, the researchers randomly chooses one or more entire clusters for the study. So this method is useful when the population is large and spread across the different locations, making data collection easier and more cost effective. Okay. And next one, non-probability sampling method. What is non-probability sampling? This is actually the participants are selected based on the convenience and availability and research judgment rather than random selection. So since not every member of the population has equal chance being included, so this method may introduce sampling bias. So in this one inexpensive and widely used in qualitative method. So we know what is quantitative, what is qualitative. Quantitative means numerical terms, qualitative means wordings, this one. And exploratory research. What is exploratory? What is explanatory? What is qualitative research? What is quantitative research? Everything we saw. Already we have done the topics. Okay, so where the goal is gain the initial insights rather than make conclusions about the entire population. So example, the researcher wants to understand students' opinions about a new teaching method. So instead of selecting students randomly, the researchers interview 30 students who are readily available in the library. So this is non-probability sampling. So they won't select, it depends on the availability on this one. So because the participants are chosen based on the convenience rather than chances. First one, this one, we have four types of non-probability: convenience and purposive and snowball sampling and quarter sampling. First one, convenience sampling. Convenience means what? It's the terms itself we can understand, depends on the convenient, readily available, we can choose. So this method which participants are selected because they are access and easy to access and readily available. It is a quick and low cost way to collect the data, especially for preliminary studies. So the selected sample may not represent the entire population, so the findings cannot always be generalized. So that I told you already, students were are present in the library at that time, you can take up. And purposive sampling means it's a called judgmental sampling. It is a non-probability method in which researchers select the participants based on the knowledge, experience, and special characteristics related to this research topic. It's commonly used in qualitative research to obtain detailed and meaningful information from individuals who can provide valuable insights. Example, we can say researchers want to understand challenges faced by students with disabilities in a university. So instead of selecting students randomly, the researchers deliberately chooses students with different types of disabilities to collect diverse opinions and experiences regarding the campus support services. And snowball sampling. Snowball is also its non-probability sampling method, and it's when the target population is difficult to identify or reach. So the researchers begins with a few participants who then refer or recommend other eligible participants. So as more people are referred, the sample gradually grows like a snowball. So although this method is useful for studying hard to reach groups, the sample may not fully represent the entire population. For example, a researcher is studying in the experience of homeless people in a city. So the researcher first interview one homeless individual, who then introduces other people willing to participate. So like this, through that personal references, it will go snowball sampling. So next one, it's a quarter sampling. Quarter sampling is also a non-probability sampling method. The researchers divides the population into different groups actually, and the characteristics and select participants under a fixed number of fixed number that research for that group. This method ensures that all selected groups are adequately represented, although participants are not chosen randomly. That we can say the food preferences among 600 consumers. So the population divided into vegetarian, veg, and non-vegetarians like this. So one quarter of 200 students is set for each group. So like this they can take some few questions we can see. Again, I'll tell you really we need what is the meaning of that every what sampling, what is probability, and what are the types of samplings that we need to know. If a research project set up so that everybody in the population of interest has an equal chance given of being included in the sample, that is called probability sampling. Non-probability sampling, actually equal chance they won't give, actually depends on the experience, depends on the availability we can select. Which of the following refers to a method of sampling which a core group of participants which are initially sampled for a research study recruit or recommend of a potential participants are? Just recommending one person to other person. Here we can see um, here increase the participants through personal reference. That is called snowball. Yes. So this is called snowball sampling. So snowball is actually it's the first group participants recruit or refers eligible participants. From the list given below, identify whose which are called non-probability sampling. What is non-probability? I think it's quarter sampling. And dimensional sampling, just simple snowball sampling that will come. So dimensional, snowball, and quarter sampling. That's our answer. Simple, systematic, stratified, and cluster samplings or probability sampling. So suppose I will tell you, snowball sampling, quarter sampling, and this is confirmed for non-probability. So fifth one is where it is here and here. Just you can eliminate this one. And I can say third one shows snowball it will come. So third one here, this is the answer correct. And the sampling techniques that relies on getting information from people who know about the population of interest rather than from the member of the population themselves refers to, actually, that is called key information sampling. What is key information means? Sampling involves collection or collecting information from a subset of population is to draw the conclusion about the larger group. So this technique, actually, it will be very crucial for effectively analyzing large data sets. It's not possible every time. So the making informed decisions, complete data in the impractical. So the key information sampling ensured the representative subset is selected. Some group selected and they will do. It's like dividing team wise. So allowing researchers to explore it, finding the entire population. Just they are taking subset is going to select and it will do that. Complete this one. Okay. And today we have a very important topic. We have seen like the sampling and probability methods. It's very important. Sure, we will get one question from this concept. Actually, this is from research. So I thank you all of you, and kindly watch full video and subscribe this channel. Thank you once again.